How are you, John? Good to see you, mate.
Good, man. Good to see you. How are things?
Things are good. Things are good. Just staying cool. It's a bit of a heat wave at the moment. Maybe is it hot over there in Milwaukee at the moment, or
It's at like 85, something like that. Where are you? Barcelona still?
that sounds pleasant. That sounds pleasant. Yeah, in Barcelona. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot. But no, things are good. How's your summer going?
Good, man. Good, really good. Just got done with Summerfest and went to Lollapalooza down in Chicago, and so seeing a lot of bands. It's good.
That's awesome. Is that a Violent Soho or is it Violent Femmes?
It's Violent Femmes actually, but it's
Okay,
funny
cool,
you
cool,
said
cool. All I can
Violent
see, all I can see is violent. So I can see it now. Yeah, I was like, oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah. Because I was like seeing violent, and I was like, okay, there's the two options.
Femmes, which are both sort of Australian related. Brian Ritchie from the Violent Femmes lives in Tasmania and has for years.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay, right.
Yeah,
Represent Tassie.
him and his wife have a art museum there and do music festivals, things like that. Been doing it for like almost a decade. It's
Oh,
crazy. I
cool.
know. But let's talk about your album. Congrats, man. Last time I talked to you, we were talking about songs, but there wasn't an album yet. Now there's an album. The sessions that you did, speaking of Barcelona, God, I love that. That was so well done.
Thank you, thank you. That was fun. Actually, that I was a bit nervous before making that because the directors and the creative team, super enthusiastic, talented crew, local crew from here in Barcelona, and they were like, "Yeah, we just want to make it like bring your friends that you have here, and we'll make it like very realistic and just as you would, maybe you're all sitting around having some food, and then you'll just break into a song." And I was like, "Oh yeah." How is it's kind of like when you know your friends are going to be there, you're like already kind of embarrassed, and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, guys, I'm going to start like playing a song. Like, I know we've never done this. This has never happened in real life at all. Do I ever just be like, oh, by the way, I'm just going to start? And then one of the guys, the creative guy, was like, yeah, like maybe someone will start humming a tune, and then someone will start like playing a bit of a rhythm on the table. I was like, I was so stressed out before it, but luckily we got it to look kind of normal and comfortable.
I think it looked great. Whose roof was that? What building?
It's a restaurant in this suburb called Poblano, and yeah, it was just like a restaurant that were available, lent us the space. Beautiful old kind of felt like it. Looked like a kind of like classic local spot, locals kind of bar, and we got a chef to come. It was a friend of a friend. He came and like cooked this delicious rice dish. Just
Nice.
everyone was getting served drinks, so I was kind of like, I was glad. I was like, as long as everyone can drink wine and beer and vermouth and eat some
Yeah.
food and feel comfortable, we'll do our thing around them. And then, yeah, so it worked out well. It was a fun day, actually.
It'll take part of the staged aspect out of it, so you won't feel so awkward. You're like, because they're basically forcing you to be natural, like you live in a musical. That suddenly Vance just always once in a while breaks out into song, and no one can stop him. You're like, like what the hell? You're like, that's not my
What's
life.
going on? Hey, what's going on, man? Like, yeah, it felt like that. It was kind of like taste as you walk past. Put your finger, taste some of the food, and it's kind of like, okay, I don't know, but it's funny. Like though, I think I shouldered a lot of that stress, but all my friends were like, getting drunk, and so that made it fun.
Also, 3 songs is really good. 3 songs is perfect. I'm sure if it went 5 songs or you did half the album, you'd be like, I'm exhausted. They don't want to be here anymore, and the chef wants us gone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. There's definitely like even the guys make it like, how long is it? I'm like 3 songs, and like, oh, okay. I think the people, just like the general feeling is like, smaller the better, just to hold people's attention. So I agree with you.
It's hard not to think about the Beatles Get Back, the Peter Jackson documentary that I don't know if you watched it, but I watched the whole thing. And
Yeah.
once they go up on the roof, it seems like such a special time, and it's just funny. And well, that's the reason I bring it up is, did people around you know what was going on? Did people love you have any idea, or was anybody looking over, or did they not want you to look over while you were
Um,
performing?
it's happened a couple of times. This one, it was kind of like, the restaurant was pretty much friends of friends. Everyone was kind of like, and we were kind of secluded, so there wasn't many like people kind of paying attention or noticing. But when I have done it in the past, like we played on top of a rooftop for another thing last year, and it was like, yeah, people on their balconies, and some people are just kind of like, what's going on? Some people love it. Like we have it at the apartment I'm living. It's like there's this balcony, and it faces into a little square. And I was practicing for that gig with the trumpet player. We had a bit of had a snack, and we were just like playing the songs, and we'd run through the tunes, and then like rarely do I have interaction with the neighbors like in the square, but just out of nowhere, someone's just like clapping, and then like someone else was like yeah, and then I looked in the park, and there was like some kids running around, and their parents, and the parents were like paying attention. So I guess that was a good sign, because if we didn't sound good, I'm sure that it wouldn't have been any encouragement. So
yeah, say if you can't entertain strangers, who can you entertain? Yeah, I mean that's good. If you get the attention of people that weren't expecting it, that's the best possible outcome.
exactly.
I do love the part about Clarity, the song that we've been playing, and I absolutely love, is that it really does start out as an anxiety attack.
Yeah, I know.
Which I never realized. The song is so melodic and so beautiful that after a while, I listened to it, 10th or 11th time, suddenly I look at the lyrics and I go, well, that's a panic attack right there. When your heart's not working and you wake up like that, it's beautiful that you take a horrifying event and kind of soften it up. And that's how you start, and it does lead into the song perfectly.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I like that when that happens in like a poppy song, when there's like a nice kind of contrast, especially with when the lyrics have a bit more teeth. But I think we were looking at, when I was writing it with Joel Little, who I wrote it with, and it was like frantic beating, and we were kind of like working with like frantic beating in my chest, panic reeling, and I was like, this is it. This is hardcore. I don't think it's either like, do we choose the hardcore approach and just stay with the teeth, or go something softer? But often the teeth is the stuff that kind of the lines with the teeth are the ones that stay. So exactly. Well,
You've been in Spain for what now? Almost like a year and a half since the pandemic.
Yeah, I got here. I came here for the first time in 20. Well, I've been here back in the day, but 2019 I came here for a show, and then I went on the opening up for Pink around Europe, which was really fun. And then I came back 2019, and then during the pandemic I was kind of like living here. I spent 4 months, and then 6 months, and then most of this year I've been over here. So I should be able to speak Spanish by now, but I don't.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it passable? Can you at least get by and buy things?
I get by, I look on Google Translate for the ingredient that I need. So the other day I was sent out to get basil, and I went up. There's a nice little grocery store, and I was like, "Tienes albahaca?" which just means, "Do you have basil?" And the lady's like, and I was like, she's like, I got the gist, but I set myself up for like a longer conversation. But the conversation, I just smile, and I'm like.
She's like, he seems nice, and then after a while she goes, he doesn't know what I'm saying.
He seems nice. He seems slow.
Is there anything you miss during that time back in Australia? And I'm talking about actual products. Anything that you miss eating or drinking that you're away from now and you can't get to?
Yeah, well, there are some places. I mean, you can't get. There's chocolate biscuits called Tim Tams. We make things called lamingtons, which are pretty good. It's like a kind of like a sponge cake that's surrounded by chocolate and coconut. So these little things, I think you can find them some place, but they're not on your doorstep. I miss the kind of coffee in the cafes around Melbourne. And then, I think I like driving in the car. I know it's not a product. It's kind of like I like just getting to drive, because there's more pedestrians here, but I like getting in the car and listening to the radio. So I always feel like I learn a bunch of new songs when I go to Australia, and I'm Shazamming, while I'm driving sometimes. I'm just like, discovering music. I feel like a lot of that happens for me in the car.
Well, that's what I was wondering with not halfway through the album, early part of Catalonia in the album is about Spain. I mean, obviously you must have been there, I'm guessing, they're writing it, yeah?
Yeah. Well, actually, I just left, and I was working with my mate Dave, but we were on Zoom. I just left Spain, and I'd got back to Australia, but I was in a quarantine hotel for 2 weeks. And he
Okay.
was like, okay, while you're in there, if you want to like, for the sake of your sanity, if you want to make a song to shake it up a bit, I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And then he kind of suggested it to me. He was like, he's like, I kind of was thinking, maybe you write a song about some of your experiences there, and maybe Catalonia doesn't have to just be a place; it could be, a person, and I was
Yeah.
like, I like that idea. And then he kind of really pulled out of me all the references to the place. He was like, "What would you do on a day?" I try to think of things, and eventually they came out. But it proved to me that you can write a song. Someone can say, "How was your day?" and you can say, "Oh, I had a shitty day" or whatever, and
Yeah.
it can give you fuel for a song from that personal experience. I used to go into songwriting sessions, and people might say, "What's going on in your life?" And then sometimes I'd kind of be like, "Oh, I don't know." Like, usually I just like mumble some stuff and it makes sense, and we write a song out of that. Like, do I have to really go into my, you know, inbox of stuff? But this time it worked.
Well, and that's with all these songs, and I don't have a shred of musical talent, but vocally it sounds a lot more melodic than your other albums. I don't know if that was intentional or if it's a product of where you've been, but not only that, it's there's a lot more feelings in this, and I don't know if you wrote them with the idea of I'm in a relationship, things are a little crazy, I'm with her, but and if you're trying to make people feel your feelings or if you're
Mm.
just trying to tell a story or both.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad it comes across that way. I heard that a couple of times, people saying it, they feel like, yeah, the emotions that come through and maybe they're a bit more, you know, even more direct or, yeah, in some way than in previous albums. So I like that that's the effect. And, I guess that's something that must be, a natural evolution. Maybe that's a cause of, because of being in a relationship and kind of exploring that side. But yeah, I also like, I used to just write into my phone like words from books and stuff, and I still do that. But I used to just kind of use those, and I would kind of put them on, stick them together, and sometimes it would create a nice storyline. But a lot of those storylines are much more personal, and yeah, it's cool. It's cool knowing that's possible. I used to definitely not write that way, but I guess I'm changing my approach and kind of some things that I thought were rules. I'm realizing they're not hard and fast rules. You can really approach it anyway.
The other part of the album, as I listened to it a couple times, is I guarantee at least half of these songs are going to pop up at a wedding in the next half of a year or year. So that's why I was wondering, all your live shows, I mean, I'm not sure how many people you're meeting and what the constraints are backstage, but do you have more people now than ever saying, this is, we're a couple, this is our song. You wrote our song. Are you getting that?
Yeah, yeah, that's happened a few times. There's been some nice, well, I've been at weddings of friends who actually didn't mention that my song would be playing as they, walk out or walk in, and that's nice.
Heavy,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's I mean, it's nice. I think it's nice that my song has meant something to people to the point where it's become their song as a couple or something that really, captures a moment for them, and it's like, yeah, some kind of shared experience, and sometimes it's couples getting married, sometimes it's just family members, and like a lot of those stories end up getting through to me just through my managers and also just looking on my inbox on Instagram. So
Yeah, it has
good,
to
it's
be.
good. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I took away, and that was after a couple listens to the album. I'm just like, I'm already married, but I said, and in fact, you met my wife at Summerfest years ago in Milwaukee, and she's in love with you. And so, just listening to it, I go, Vance Joy's got a new album. She goes, oh, let's hear it. And I'm like, okay. And I go, these are wedding songs, aren't they? I'm like, she goes, these are beautiful. And I'm like, and I don't know why my brain like went to there's couples are going to listen to it. They're going to get married, and it's going to be all Van Vance Joy. It's just like,
Yeah. I
I
know.
think you're digging in a little deep.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad it has that effect. Also, it's like it makes me think because I think not too far away when I get married, I'm also going to be thinking about first dance songs, and I think my ones are pretty mellow. So I've been at weddings when people have danced to like Ed Sheeran's "Shape of You," and I was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Like
What is that?
he's got so many other wedding songs, but they chose that one, and they were like, I was like, I don't know.
You're like, that
Good.
doesn't. What would yours be? What would your first song be?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? We at the moment we love that song. We always love it. It's that song, and I was actually playing a cover of it. It's we discovered it on Jumanji the movie, which is also not another romantic movie, but the what is it called? Ooh baby, I love your way.
Oh,
Ooh,
oh yeah.
baby, I love your way.
Ooh, baby, I love you every day. Yeah. Okay.
There's like a cover. I don't know who sang the original, but it's like the cover version, which is in that
Yeah.
movie.
Nice.
Good, great tune.
Jumanji. Put the whole soundtrack on. The whole soundtrack is killed. It's murdered. How are things? I mean, like, how is this time with your girlfriend Ben? That's a lot of time together, both forced and non. You know what I mean? Like, you did go on tour, so there's probably a little time apart, but it's a different time to be in a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of cool. I mean, I enjoyed the first bit of, we were fine long distance. It was nice that I could actually get over here after the first kind of few months of 2020. But I think we also enjoyed that. I think a lot of people went through it if they were doing long distance, that like you kind of just had to approach things slightly differently and be like, okay, well, this time apart, it can be cool in the sense of the way you communicate is different. You still kind of get to know each other, but it
Yeah.
becomes like it's like almost a I don't know. It's like a nice period of time to think back to it, like sending messages and like little videos, and I don't know, just like still, especially in that early time of just getting to know each other. It was nice. We'd read books, stuff like that. It was just like it was good. I think it was a unique time, and I think we both feel quite fondly about those long distance months.
That being said, you're going to be spending a lot of 2023 on the road, specifically in North America. You already sold out the Chicago show, which is great. And I mean, are you ready? Do you have your tour legs back?
I think I got him. I got a little bit of fitness up over that month before the album came out. We had a few shows and we did
Yeah.
a little bit of promo, um, and we're just starting to get those new songs kind of feeling really good. And I think by the time I've got a month of touring in Australia. By the time we come to America, we should have them really in a good spot, and just getting the most out of them, and the ones like say Catalonia and some of these upbeat songs, getting them to really gel and feel impactful. But I've had a few months off as well, so I think I'll be learning it all. By the time I go back to Australia in end of October, I'll have to like do a few days rehearsal and just blow out the cobwebs. you know.
One last thing I need to ask you about the Aussie rules football team that you played on for those couple seasons.
Yeah, yeah.
Jersey available for purchase. Can people buy those?
Oh, the Cob. So I played for the Coburg Tigers, which was like in the
Yeah.
VFL. It's like the support league to the Richmond Tigers. And then a few years ago, they kind of reclaimed their original name, and they were actually the Lions. So they're the Coburg Lions now. But you can get
Okay.
you can get a jersey of the Coburg Lions. I mean,
Okay.
I think I've got. There's probably a couple in storage. So I don't know.
Nice.
I can try and track one or two down for you.
Your life absolutely fascinates me. I love your music, but I'm always fascinated by your pre-music life. That's great. But yeah, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it, and I look so much forward to seeing you next year when you're touring, Vance.
Thanks, Adler. Yeah, well, yeah. If you want to grab it, I got tickets. Put you and your wife on the door to Chicago
Excellent.
if you're making the trip.
Oh,
But yeah, see how you go.
she's from Chicago, so it's perfect. Little homecoming. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. Easy. I'll be
Excellent, man. I appreciate it. Safe travels, man. All the best. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, mate. Good to see you.
Thanks.